Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Steve, and today we're actually comparing three separate watches in a not necessarily head-to-head competition, but more of an overall discussion. The watches featured today are the Seiko SNKK52, the Tissot PRX, and the Brew Metric. Now, what do all three of these watches have in common? One's a chronograph, one's automatic, and one is just your standard three-handed quartz. Well, they're all gold, and summer is upon us. It's coming up soon. You're gonna break out your floral shirts, and then you have to wear something gold on your wrist. It's just science. The 80s are back. I have a mustache. I don't know what's going on. Now, of the three watches, the only one I don't have in my possession is the Brew Metric, and that's because I didn't really own the Brew. I actually got it in from my friend Luke. We did an unboxing on it, and I gave it back to him. The only reason I decided to put that watch in this video is because it kind of fit the criteria. It's affordable, it's gold, and it looks good. So I decided, hey, why not just clump it all together into one video? So since we're talking about the Brew, let's go ahead and start off with that one. And the first thing that caught my eye on this was that dial. I love having a black dial with a gold watch. I think it looks really, really good. Also, integrated bracelet, so that does fit the 80s theme. And on top of that, it is a chronograph. So I thought, man, this is really checking off a lot of boxes. I like the presence on the wrist. I like that it was quartz, actually, because I don't really wear gold watches all that often, so having a quartz watch really made sense. And the tone of gold actually is a little bit more subdued, so I like that a little bit more than the other two offerings. The proportions of the watch fit my wrist quite nicely, and that bracelet, even though it's not my favorite, does taper very well from the case down to the clasp. That clasp is a little basic, but it is stamped with the Brew logo, and I'm a sucker for branding, so I really enjoyed that. Going back to that matte black dial, I love what they did with the minute markers every 5 minutes. I think it's a really good font. And then the position of the subdials are very fun and odd. I actually like how the 9 o'clock subdial is more of a 9:45 subdial, and it's just fun. It's fun to have a quirky subdial. It's fun to have a gold watch. You're wearing floral, you're wearing light colors, you're going to the pool. I love how they did this. I think it just embraces that overall happiness of summer. And then at the 3 o'clock, you have that almost invisible coffee bean. And it's just that little thing of branding. I just, oh, it's just so good. But the biggest downfall of this watch is that there is no lume. And I don't know why they didn't put lume on this watch. It just doesn't make any sense. It's a sports watch. It's supposed to have a little bit of lume, but absolutely no lume on this watch. Another negative, and I didn't mention this in my unboxing video, but the case itself is a rounded square, the dial is circular, and so the area between the dial and the edge of the case is a flat piece of metal, right? You're putting a crystal on top of that, so that metal that's on the outside of the dial is going to reflect a lot of light. But at the end of the day, you're gonna have a watch with good proportions, sapphire crystal, a Seiko Mecha Quartz movement, and 50 meters of water resistance. And you're gonna get all of that watch for $475. And for me, anything under $500 for a seasonal watch is an A-OK purchase in my book. Another $475 watch that we're comparing today is the Tissot PRX. This one is the quartz model. Now, I reviewed the PRX multiple different times, and I'm probably gonna review it again, to be honest. If you want to see the full reviews of those videos, go ahead and click up there. The thing I love about the PRX lineup is how well it fits on my wrist. I love the amount of watch that you get for the money. It's a relatively affordable watch. You know, your range is between $350 and $750, I want to say, for like the more affordable ones. Obviously, the chronographs and the precious metal ones are a little bit more expensive. But for the most part, the solid chunk of the lineup and the watch that I fell in love with ranges in that $350, $650 range. And I think they chose the best target price, because not only do you get the heritage of Tissot, you have the build quality of the Tissot. And I think the PRX is built, arguably the best out of any Tissot that I've handled. And a majority of that build quality comes down to the bracelet. I think the bracelet is probably the best feature of the PRX. It's something that captured my eye right when I got the watch. It's a brushed top side with high polished edges, and it just reflects that light so perfectly. It's not too flashy, but it just does it the right way. And even in the first generation of the PRX, the bracelet has always had quick release spring bars because Tissot had the foresight to say, hey, we're going to make replacement bands for these watches. So now they have leather and they have rubber, and you can find aftermarket bands if you don't like Tissot's offerings. Now, some people might think this is a negative. I think it's a positive, and that is the movement powering this is quartz. Some people like to have mechanical movements. For my watches that I rarely wear, maybe once or twice a week or even a month, I don't mind that it's quartz because I can just pop it on, I know it's the right time, and I can just go about my day. I don't have to think about, oh, is it the right time? Is it the right date? I just pop it on and head out the door. And this movement is Swiss made, has 3 jewels, and it comes with an end of life indicator, so you'll know when the battery is running low. And this watch has 100 meters of water resistance, so it should be great by the pool. Now, when it comes to the negatives of the PRX, the size can be a little bit too large for some wrists. Yes, it is only a 40 millimeter watch, but having those end links kind of stick out a little bit, it could just wear slightly bigger than the specs state. Now, they do have a 35 millimeter option, but that might be too small. So if you're on the fence about it, I would try to find a Tissot dealer that where you can go in, try it on, and see. When it comes to the lume, yeah, there is some lume, but it fades rather quickly. It's not the best, but at least it's there. Now, when it comes to the gold tone Tissot used for the PRX, this one is possibly slightly richer than the Brew. But if you like that more vibrant gold, this should work out just fine. If you want something more natural, more subdued, the Brew Metric is gonna have a closer gold tone, at least in my opinion. And for me, the champagne dial, I don't know, it leaves something to be desired. I wish they had a different texture. I love the waffle pattern texture of the Powermatic 80s, so I wish they would have done that here and made this into a Powermatic 80. I guess if you're gonna have the Powermatics be the waffle dial, really would have liked to see that here. It's okay, it's not bad. It's a, you know, vertically brushed champagne dial. Nothing too eye-catching about it. It's just passable at this point. And for moving on from one watch I love to another, I bring you the Seiko SNKK52. So first of all, I love the case design of this watch. It is very Nautilus-esque, right? It has that wing there, but it's not a one-for-one recreation of it. It's inspired by it, right? It's an actual homage. It's not just a one-to-one replica of the Nautilus. So I really like that case design, and I love the subtle complexity of the dial. You have an inner circle, which is sunburst, and on the outer circle, it's more of a matte finish, both in gold, but it offers just that little extra flair for a simple gold dial. And while the case itself is vertically brushed, the sides of the case, the bezel, the markers, the hands, they're all high polished. So it offers a really good contrast with the top of the case and that dial. At the 3 o'clock, we have that bordered day-date window, which, take it or leave it, some people like it, some people hate it, but it is a Seiko 5 nonetheless, so that you have that day-date there at the 3 o'clock. And on the back, it comes with an exhibition case back, so you can see the automatic movement. And yes, I know I just praised the quartz movements of the other 2 watches, but at least this one has an exhibition caseback window so you can see the movement inside. If it is your first automatic watch, which most Seiko 5s are, then you're going to absolutely love that exhibition caseback. Now, when it comes down to the biggest negatives of this watch, and there are big negatives, while the PRX bracelet is near perfection, this Seiko bracelet is trash. It's not good. They have folded links, a stamped clasp. It's just very basic. It's very Seiko 5. And if you're aware of that, great. But the issue is you can't change out this bracelet for something else. It has that integrated case design. So the lug to lug is very odd, right? You're gonna have to have custom fitted straps for this watch. So you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because you can't really change out the bracelet unless you put it on a leather one. And then do you really want a leather one on your gold watch, especially if you wanted a gold watch? So you're kind of caught in, do I wear this a lot? Do I not wear this a lot? It also has what I believe it to be a hardlex crystal. Some people say mineral crystal, but usually Seiko has hardlex. So it's going to possibly scratch up a lot more. And the coating on the watch, I don't really know what type of coating it is, but that gold has rubbed off from excessive use. And not to mention, I don't know what the water resistance rating of this watch is. The case back just says water resistant. And it's impossible to find information online, so I can't really know 100% how deep this can go. I assume 50, but maybe it's 30. I have no idea. So which watch am I going to crown the best gold watch for under $500? Well, I think we can eliminate one right off the bat, and that is the Brew Metric. Why? Because I haven't bought it. And if I didn't buy it, I'm not going to recommend you buying it. So which watch am I going to choose? It's going to be the Seiko SNKK52. It's just something about this watch. It just has the it factor that I want in my gold watches. And trust me, the PRX, great piece. I'm going to buy the PRX in probably green. I want to say green. Steel and green. Maybe I'll see what else they have over there. Maybe I'll get the black. I have no idea. I'm going to have a PRX in the collection as well, but not this gold one. I'm going to keep the Seiko because I have more of a connection to it. But what do you guys think? Go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section down below. Did I choose the right watch? Did I choose the wrong one? I don't know. You tell me, give me your opinion, why I was right, why I was wrong. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. And if you want to follow my Instagram or Twitter, all the links are in the description box below. Now, if you want to see full reviews of these watches, please go ahead and pick one of these two. I'm going to leave the Tissot one here. I'm going to leave the Seiko one here. Go ahead and watch them both. And until next time, I am out.